Find a peak performance partner. Another way to increase your exposure to expanded associations is by teaming up with a peak performance partner, someone equally committed to study and personal growth as you. This person should be someone you trust, someone bold enough to tell you what they really think about you, your attitudes, and your performance. It could be that this person is a longtime friend, or it may be someone who doesn't know you well at all. The point is to get and give an unbiased, honest outside perspective. My longtime accountability partner is my good friend Landon Taylor. As I mentioned before, we have a 30-minute call every Friday to discuss our daily wins, losses, fixes, ahas, and where we are on our growth plans. The anticipation of the call and knowing I have to be accountable to Landon keeps me extra committed throughout the week. I make a record of Landon's losses or any feedback he needs and make sure to ask him about it the next week. He does the same for me. That way we hold each other accountable. We might say, okay, you screwed up here last week and admitted it and committed to change. What did you do about that this week? Life is life. We're both busy executives. But it's amazing to me that we actually end up doing this every week without fail. It's not easy. Sometimes I'll be flying through my day and think, oh crud, I have to do this. But often in the middle of the call, I'll think, I'm so glad we're having this conversation. Even in preparing for it and thinking of my big wins and losses for the week, I learn about myself. This week I told London, you know, I'm in the middle of so many things. I'm writing my book. I'm having a lot of realizations and so many ahas, but not one thing that's really compelling. He said, let this be the last week that you don't come to the table with an ahas. Gulp. Don't shortchange me, he said. Point taken. In reality, I was shortchanging myself by not identifying one thing memorable enough to share. I have a serious challenge for you if you're up for it. Want real feedback? Find people who care enough about you to be brutally honest with you. Ask them these questions. How do I show up to you? What do you think my strengths are? In what areas do you think I can improve? Where do you think I sabotage myself? What's one thing I can stop doing that would benefit me the most? What's the one thing I should start doing? Invest in mentorship. Paul G. Mayer is another man who served a mentor to me. Paul passed away in 2009 at age 81. Whenever I thought I was really doing well, really playing at a high level, I'd get around Paul. It was my reality check. What he did before lunch was mind-boggling to me. I got to spend a lot of time with him. Paul bought one of my companies, and I also conducted a turnaround for one of his companies. He was a very powerful spirit in my life. After spending a couple of hours with Paul, hearing about all his plans, ventures, and activities, my head would spin. Just trying to make sense of all he had going on exhausted me. After time with Paul, I'd want to go take a nap, but my association with him raised my game. His walking pace was my running pace. It expanded my ideas about how big I could play and how ambitious I could be. You have to get around people like that. You're never too good for a mentor. My friend Harvey McKay told me. I have had 20 coaches. if you can believe it. I have a speech coach. I have a writing coach. I have a humor coach. I've got a language coach, and on and on. I have always found it interesting that the most successful people, the truly top performers, are the ones willing to hire and pay for the best coaches and trainers there are. It pays to invest in your improved performance. Finding and engaging a mentor doesn't need to be a mysterious or intimidating process either. When I sat down with Ken Blanchard, he explained the simplicity of engaging a mentor. The first thing you want to remember with a mentor is that it doesn't need to take a lot of their time. The best advice I've ever gotten is in short clips, having lunch or breakfast with somebody, just telling them what I'm working on and asking their advice. You will be amazed how successful businesses or business people are willing to be mentors to people when it's not taking a lot of time. John Wooden reinforced that point to me when he started. Mentoring is your true legacy. It is the greatest inheritance you can give to others, and it should never end. It is why you get up every day to teach and be taught. He went on to explain that mentorship is also a two-way street. An individual needs to be open to being mentored. It is our responsibility to be willing to allow our lives and our minds to be touched, molded, and strengthened by the people who are around us. Develop your own personal board of advisors. As part of my plan to be wiser, more strategic, operate more effectively, and expand the time I have with high-minded leaders, I developed a board of advisors in my life, in my personal life. I hand-selected a dozen people because of their areas of expertise, creative thinking ability, and are my great respect for who they are. Once a week, I reach out to a few of them and solicit ideas, run thoughts by them, and ask for feedback and input. Having started this process, I can tell you the benefits I've already received have been profound, far more than I anticipated. That's surprising. The genius people are willing to share when you show sincere interest. Who should be on your personal board of advisors? Seek out positive people who have achieved the success you want to create in your own life. Remember the adage, never ask advice of someone with whom you wouldn't want to trade places. Environment, changing your view changes your perspective. When I was in real estate, working in the San Francisco Bay Area, I lived and worked within a very limited demographic. I saw the same kinds of people operating at the same level over and over. I needed to find an elevated circle of associations in order to go where I wanted to go. I started driving across the bay to one of the richest and most beautiful spots on the planet, Tiburon in Marine Country, north of San Francisco. If you've ever been to Monaco, that's what Tiburon looks like, but far quainter. It's a spectacular spot. I could go to a delightful seafood restaurant, Sam's on the Wharf. The food was great, but more importantly, the restaurant was popular with the area's more affluent residents. Aside from going to Sam's to expand my associations, I'd also sit on the wharf and look up at the hillside. I was mesmerized by the multi-million-dollar houses and hang off the cliffs. One in particular always caught my eye, a blue four-story home with an elevator and a whale lightning rod at the top. What would be the perfect house? I used to ask myself all the time. If someone could just give me one of them, which one would I pick? The answer was always the same: this beautiful blue one. It was in the perfect spot with a bright vista, the best of the bunch. On my way home from brunch one morning, I saw an open house sign and thought it'd be fun to check it out. One sign led to another as I followed them, zigzagging up the cliffs along the narrow streets. I finally reached the top of the hill and found the advertised home. As I entered and walked up to a spectacular bay window, the world opened up in front of me. The peninsula tip of Tiburon, Angel Island across the bay, Berkeley, and the East Bay, the Bay Bridge, and the entire San Francisco skyline over to the Golden Gate Bridge in a 300-degree expanse. I walked out into the balcony and looked around. Suddenly I realized that this was the very house I'd been looking at for years. This was the Blue House. I signed the contract on the spot. My dream house was now mine. I can't really say that I met anybody at Sam's who changed my life. However, that environment had a powerful effect on me. Seeing those homes up on the cliffs fueled my ambition and expanded my dreams. I ended up working harder than I ever thought possible to make those dreams come true, and they did. The dream in your heart may be bigger than the environment in which you find yourself. Sometimes you have to get out of that environment to see that dream fulfilled. It's like planting an oak sapling in a pot. Once it becomes root-bound, its growth is limited. It needs a great space to become a mighty oak. So do you. When I talk about your environment, I'm not only referring to where you live, I'm referring to whatever surrounds you. Creating a positive environment to support your success means clearing out all the clutter in your life. Not only the physical clutter that makes it hard for you to work productively and efficiently, although that's important too, but also the physical clutter of whatever around you isn't working, whatever's broken, whatever's make you cringe. Each and every incomplete piece of your life exerts a draining force on you, sucking the energy of accomplishment and success out of you as surely as a vampire stealing your blood. Every incomplete promise, commitment, and agreement saps your strength because it blocks your momentum and inhibits your ability to move forward. Incomplete tasks keep calling you back to the past to take care of them. So think about what you can complete today. Additionally, when you're creating an environment to support your goals, remember that you get in life what you tolerate. This is true in every area of your life, particularly within your relationships with family, friends, and colleagues. What you have decided to tolerate is also reflected in the situations and circumstances of your life right now. Put another way, you will get in life what you accept and expect you are worthy of. If you tolerate disrespect, you will be disrespected. If you tolerate people being late and making you wait, people will show up late for you. If you tolerate being underpaid and overworked, that will continue for you. If you tolerate your body being overweight, tired, and perpetually sick, it will be. It's amazing how life will organize around the standards you set for yourself. Some people think they're the victims of other people's behavior, but in actuality, we have control over how people treat us. Protect your emotional, mental, and physical space. Then you can live with peace. Rather than in the chaos and stress the world will hurl upon you. If you want to foster a disciplined routine of rhythms and consistency so that Big Mo not only pays a visit to your house but moves in. You have to be sure your environment is welcoming and supportive of your becoming, doing, and performing at world class level. While we're on the topic of world class, in the next chapter, I want to help you take everything you've learned thus far and give you the respect to accelerate your results. Achieving greater results with only a little more effort may feel a little like cheating on an unfair advantage, but who said life was fair? If you liked this video or listening to this video, you can subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. And see you next time.